Okay, so let's try to understand this pattern, the left triangle pattern, how to get this. So suppose in this particular case, I have defined the rows. So as you can see, there are 3 rows here. So the value of row is 3 in this case. Now suppose I keep that as the limit. Okay, I'll start with 0, go till the number of rows. So as you know, the outer loop is for what? Outer loop is for rows. Inner loop is for columns. So suppose if I have a program like this where I give int I is equal to 0, I less than rows or whatever is the limit, I plus plus. So I'm initializing the value here, giving the starting value. Then I'm giving the limits and I am giving the increment portion of this. So the first loop will tell me the row part. Then, so this is my outer loop. The regular, the same as we have the regular for loop. Now inside this, if I have another loop, int j is equal to whatever. I'm just giving you an example here. J is equal to 0, j less than equals to I, j plus plus. So this will be called the inner loop. And we will have our own set of brackets here. And within it, we will write some SOP statement or whatever we are trying to do, we can write that. So this is my basic way or the standard way to give a nested for loop, one loop inside the other. Now coming on to this particular example. So in this, first of all, with the outer loop, as we do, we are defining the number of rows. So I start with 0 and I continue till I get my rows. Then in the next part is tricky. In this particular case, you can see the columns are just not made up of stars. The columns are made up of rows as, spaces as well. So that gives me a hint. I need to use the inner loop for spaces as well as the stars. Two things. So first of all, I will give something for the spaces. Why spaces first? Because see, first of all, you have the space only, right? You have space, not the star. So let's give a loop for the space. So j is equal to, so here in this case, we are following a certain formula so that I can get the spaces of my choice. So I give this particular formula and I give the value where j is greater than 0, j minus minus. Okay, so this inner loop is for spaces. Now, how does it tells me about the spaces? So I'm removing this for now so that I can explain about the inner loop. Or I'll just differentiate it. So first of all, what is the value of I in this case? The value of I is 0. From the outer loop, the value of I is 0, right? So, and we know the maximum limit is 3. So what is the condition? The condition is I less than 3. That's the condition from the outer loop. Okay. Now we come to the next part, the J loop. Now J loop is 2 into row. What is row? 3. What is the value of I? 0. So it will be what? 2 into 3 becomes what? 6. So starting from 6 and going till j greater than 0. Right? And we will be decrementing it every time. What does it say? Please print me a space. So what I do is for a value of j is equal to 6, I print a space, right? I print a space. Then again, I check for the condition. What is supposed to happen? J minus minus means decrement. Now what the value of j will become? It will become 5, right? So I print one more space. Likewise, till the time it becomes 1. Starting from 6 to 1, see, because it is greater than 0, not equals to 0, I will print the spaces. So I will have 6 spaces, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will print some number of spaces. So this loop, starting from j is equal to 6 to j is equal to 1, 6 times it will print the spaces, 6 spaces. Okay, so it will print 6 spaces. Then I go to the next part. So now my next inner loop is for column. What does that say? It says j is equal to 0. I am talking about line number 18. J less than equals to I. What is j less than equals to I in this case? J less than equals to, what is the value of I? The value of I is not changed. It is the same. Nowhere we have changed the value of I till now. J plus plus, right? So this is how it is going on. Now what to do? I want to print a star. I want to print a star. So till what time, till which place should the J loop run? Start from 0 and till 0. That's my maximum limit because the value of I is 0, right? So it will run only one time. This loop will run only once. Why it will run only once? See, I start with 0 and limit is 0. See, if I do j plus plus after this, the value of j will be 1. Then it will be 1 less than equals to 0. No, 1 is not less than equals to 0. 1 is greater than 0. So it cannot run any further. So this loop will only run once and print only one star. That's why after the 6 spaces, only one star will get printed. So this is how it will go on. Now after this, as soon as the value of j becomes 1 and the condition is not satisfied anymore, it will come out of the second inner loop also. After that, it will go to line number 24. Line number 24 says what? Println. And do watch out for the above, it is print, not println. So you don't go to the next line, you do everything in the same line. But as soon as you see println, it means please move the cursor to the next line. Okay, I move the cursor to the next line. Now what? My outer loop is not finished. I go back, check the value of I because I plus plus happened. Now the value of I is 1, right? And I will check 1 less than 3. 3, the value of row is 3. So yes, 1 is less than 3 because the value of I is 1. Now I can again run the loop. So I will follow the same steps again. But now, if I go to line number 12, the J loop, it will be J is equal to 2 into what is row? 3. What is the value of I now? 1. So it changes. See, the formula changes. I mean, the formula is the same. The value changes. 2 into 2. It becomes 4. The value of J becomes the 4. And J greater than 0, J minus minus. Now what will happen? So I know for the first row, I already have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I had 1 star. So this was row 1. Now I will deal with row 2, right? So first row is already done. Now I will deal with the second row. So now value of j is 4. Starting from 4, the loop will run till the value of j is 1. 4, 3, 2, 1, right? Every time it will check. So I will get 4 spaces now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces. Why? This space loop says for every iteration of the loop, every instance of the loop, you run one. You print the space once. So for a value of j is equal to 4, it will print you 1 space. J is equal to 3, it will print another space. 2 again. So the third space with the that. And for j is equal to 1, the fourth space. So likewise, it will print you 4 spaces. So after that, it will terminate and we go back to the third loop where we are printing the stars. Now, what does that say? That says j is equal to 0, j less than equals to I. What is the value of I? The value of I is 1 now. If you have forgotten, I'll write it here. I is 1 from the outer loop. It that didn't change. So j is still 1. I is still 1. And for the values of j, we have this thing. Okay. Now, what does it mean? For I is equal to 1, j is equal to 0. What should it do? It should print me 1 star. Then for I is equal to 1, j is equal to 1. It will print another star for me, right? See, it says with every iteration, it should run a star. It should print a star. So for a value of I is equal to 1, j is equal to 0, it printed the first star. For a value of I is equal to 1, j is equal to 1, it prints me another star. See, because it is like means j is equal to 0, j less than equals to 1, j plus plus. This is the terminology. So it will start with 0, but go till 1. Both the values. So 2 stars now. Earlier it was till 0, so 1 star. Now 2 stars. But what ultimately it means if we go to the original plan? It means, see, first of all, there was 6 spaces and 1 star. Then we had 4 spaces, then 2 stars. So if you combine this together, because these stars will print only after those spaces, right? We don't have print ln anywhere. So it will print on the same row. So this is how the row 1 and row 2, the pattern happens. Now, for a value of, okay, now what it will do? It will go to line number 24. It says what? Print ln means go to the next line. I go to the next line. Now the value of I becomes 3. Okay, I becomes 3. What is the condition? That, wait a minute. Sorry, I is not 3, I is 2. It was 3 earlier. It was 1 earlier, no? So it is 2. So I is equal to 2. What is the condition? I less than equals to row. What is the row number? It is 3. So I can still run the loop. No problems because the value is 3. So I go inside j. Again, I use the formula j is equal to 2 into what is row? 3. 3 minus 2 means what? 2 into 1 becomes 2. Okay, so 3 minus 2 is 1. 2 into 1 is 2. So for a value of, I'll write in brackets, j is equal to 2. If anyone is not clear, I'll write in the brackets. Or it will be more confusing, I think. So the value of j is 2 now, or maybe I'll write it here. J is equal to 2, j greater than 0, j minus minus. So this is the condition. So now what will happen? Starting from j is equal to 2 to j is equal to 1. 2 times I will have this space again. Okay. So now 2 spaces. See, we had 6 spaces, we had 4 spaces. Now we have, see, 4 spaces. Now we have 2 spaces. Okay. So it will run 2 times. Why? It will run for j is equal to 0 and j is equal to, it will run for j is equal to 2 and j is equal to 1 because j is greater than 0 in this case, right? So 2 spaces. After that, what I do? After that, I go to the third loop for printing the star. So what I have explained earlier also, the same thing is applicable here. For a value of I is equal to 2, it will be j is equal to 0. Second is j less than equals to I. What is I now? 2. J plus plus. Right? This is the thing. So if we start with j is equal to 0, j is less than equals to 2 means loop will run 3 times. Why loop will run 3 times? It will run for j is equal to 0, j is equal to 1, and it will run for j is equal to 2, right? Because it is equals to 2. So it will, every step, it will print you a star, right? Every step, it will print you one star each. So we already had 2 spaces here. So you will get 3 stars. So like after that, line number 24, it will go to the next line. So because of this, you will get this particular pattern. First 6 spaces, 1 star, 4 spaces, 2 stars, and then 2 spaces, 3 star. So this is how we run this loop. So this is the explanation of how you get this particular pattern.